All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome back. I'm sorry, I'm late on the uranium miners in Australia. We are going to look at that right now. I've actually had people saying when it was going to be released because usually I do it on Monday, but yeah, we are doing it here on Wednesday at the moment, at least this week. Before we start, I will show you something that maybe some of you have seen. I did a video together with North Star and bad charts and finding finance. Two parts here on this channel, Capital Cosm. Go check it out. Definitely worth watching here. We're discussing overall markets, strategies, gold and silver, uranium, all that good stuff. So it's definitely worth listening to, in my honest opinion. As always do your own due diligence. These are my view on the markets. Let's go. Let's get straight into business here. So yeah, here it is. I'll quickly show you the URA. The pullback is here, as expected. We are now have been down 14%, so it's not a big pullback by any means. And I think we can go into the 24s at max the 22s for URA. But you can see here we are finding some support here at these highs over here, this green support zone. We are finding some retrace here on the weekly. I will not call it the bottom here, but we are making a hammer for today at least. So, but anyways, we are getting the pullback as expected. Nothing goes in a straight line. Let me show you also. We have made 1, 2, 3. We have made a high above 1, 2, 3 other previous highs, and now we're making a higher low in my view, which is normal, healthy for a bull market in uranium. All right. With that said, let's look into the Australian miners here. 92E. Still, nothing has happened. We're still here. Nothing is happening. And yeah, at some point in time, hopefully this triangle that I mentioned right there resolves to the upside, getting above the 30 weekly and the golden there. So nothing to do. Just wait, sit it out here. You can buy the lows here if we get down here again. If you wanna do that again, I'm the guy who waits for the breakout and then retesting. That's how I play it. But buying here with that thesis that we're going higher is totally valid. But again, we could go lower for a long time, right? So, and that's why I would like to buy the breakouts. AEE, big time from here. Look at it. It looks absolutely beautiful. We still have the neckline right here with the armpits right there, almost touching here. Zooming in, I will let you know that getting above that trend line right there, the horizontal one at 0.355, you can see we tagged it and retraced, is the big go level for this stock here. Then we're above the neckline, above the shorter term. Well, it's still a 2-year horizontal trend line right there. And again, you can see here, if it happens, we have actually also a minor inverted head and shoulders there. So getting above that 0.355 is actually where everything gets really interesting in this stock here. Again, we have had a big run here up. You can see from the lows on the right shoulder, 120%. So I do think that we go a decent amount lower here before we go higher, because this is a big run and we need to pause again before we go higher. So yeah, that's my take on that one here. H, alligator. Oops. That was the big moment in time right here. The breakout from that falling wedge. As you can see, 1, 2, 3 lower lows, beautiful textbook. And then we had a minor, you can see here, resistance line coming across here. So we actually had, we took out the 30 weekly average, moving average. We took out the long-term triangle and the minor one right here. Big pop here. And what is normal? A pullback. Right now we're finding some support here at this horizontal line here at roughly 0.05. We can zoom in here on the daily to see, do I expect this one to hold? Actually, I have my doubts, to be honest. If I were to draw it quickly here, I think we have some sort of triangle there that has broken down. So maybe we are in for an ABC correction here, going bit further down before we go higher. But again, for now it's holding, which is nice to see. And yeah, again, higher high, and we will probably make a higher low here in this. Maybe it's here, I don't know, but we're definitely making a higher low somewhere around here until proven otherwise. This is as you know, on the the definition of an uptrend is that we're above a 30 weekly moving average, and we're making higher highs, and now we're probably making that lower low somewhere around here. So if you can get it here at some point in time, that would be a beautiful entry in my view. Bannerman, same thing. Again, we broke that beautiful, beautiful triangle right there. We actually had a tiny flag here just below, also very nice. And then we popped big time, and we're up 110%. And now we're having that retrace, right? And people are getting bearish all of a sudden, but we're actually only down 20%. And as you know, in uranium, 20% drop is basically a given at any point in time. We're still holding this green uptrend right here, but I do think, well, I don't know, but my bias is that probably gets taken out. I don't think the pullback is over. Um, Again, I would happily see it to hold and then we grind higher, but still, I do think that we need more. But again, long term, it doesn't really matter, right? We are above the inclining 30 weekly, making a major higher high here. You can see we had this high, that high, that high, and now we made a higher high, taking out 3 previous highs. And it's very normal to make a bottom here. So as again, the higher low bottom right there. So a higher low, excuse me, right there. So that is the definition of an uptrend, right? Deep yellow is actually looking. I want to zoom out here actually. This one goes back to 2006, all the way down, all the way down. And now we have finally, with conviction, broken that long-term trend line. Very strong, very telling for what is to come. And then we were resting at the previous high here back in 2021, and we're getting a bit of a retrace there. I think that we can go all the way back to 0.94 and still be totally intact with the trade here, or with the investment. Again, testing that 15-year long trend line, which is now support, resistance below, now it's support. And if you get down there, I think in my view, it's a great buy. And that's still 22% away. So there's still a bit more to go in my view. Again, when and if we get above that horizontal here at roughly 1.4, then that's a major resumption to the upside. So a move like that would be textbook perfect. Just shake out the people that got in here, all the FOMO guys, and then we go higher again. You can also see the 30 weekly here finally starting to really curl up here. So if we start to do something like this, then the 30 weekly will catch up, and now you have great momentum behind it. So yeah, beautiful. Also, one minor thing here, we took out that neckline right there, and we are going higher. But again, a pause here for maybe October or November even. Nice. Boss energy, long term, we are above the all-time highs, so there's basically no resistance at all. It's completely new price discovery, and yeah, this was the bullish consolidation, breakout, retest, resumption, and I think we're going in to retest that all-time high. We haven't done that yet, so I think we're going back to 4. That's still 15% away, give or take, 13% away from where we are at the moment, and that will still be totally fine. 30 weekly, as you can see here, is trending nicely. So the trend is up. Long term, look at it here. This is a very, very bullish take on the on Boss Energy. You can see here the longer term. You can see them, the higher high and higher lows, and now we are probably making some sort of higher high there, and a higher low on the longer time frame cycles. So again, Boss Energy is looking great. Will I be a buy here? We can drop down to the daily and see. We are dropping down from the overbought condition, and I would assume that we go down here to the $4 level, give or take, and then we can see what happens. But still, long term, fantastic. Elevate, good old Elevate, quite similarly. that was the triangle that we were looking at for a long time. We started to look at it here when I started the channel, and we had a big pop, right? So, and the pop actually were from the bottom all the way up to 100%. That's a beautiful move, a very, very beautiful move indeed. And now we're just hoovering. You can see this green support zone here that we have all the interactions with, and we're just getting, every time we get into that green zone, we are getting some sort of buyers. Also, 30 weekly starting to come up here nicely. I do expect, I hope that we stay here for like 6 weeks or so, and then just to have the 30 weekly coming up, uh, and gain some momentum, and then we can go higher. And obviously, we will have some resistance here at these highs here at around 0.8. There will be some selling once again, but yeah, the long term, as you can see here, still fantastic. This was the low, and then we have a big pull here into a flag, and now when we gain momentum again at some point in time, we are going, in my view, way higher if this thing really gets going. One thing that I do is concerned is the overall market looks very iffy right now. So yeah, this is Lotus. Lotus. We have one major long-term trend line right there, the golden one. This was the initial right here back in 2021. We broke that, retested, and then we did all this afterwards. And now we actually had a smaller trend line in here, which is gone for some reason. There it is. Let's just keep it in red for now. And that was a break, right? And now we came all the way up here to that trend line and getting resisted again. What's beautiful is actually that this trade or stock here is actually very telling. We have this green uptrend here. So when and if we take out this zone right here, the horizontal going back to here, and also that long-term golden, then in my view, this setup will have us go all the way up to the upper end of that uptrend. And we are currently at 0.24. So we could be in, I'm not saying that we are, but if we are to resolve this green uptrend, you have a big move ahead of us. Again, these are major resistance, both of them. So it will take some time to pass it, to really crack that one. But you have, again, the 30 weekly is holding. So as long as this one here holds, then hopefully we will make a big base here, big flag, and then we pop big time. And then Boss Energy, excuse me, Lotus should really kick into gear once we get above that. You can also see there's basically no resistance. We have one here, a minor one, but then again, then we are coming into, I wouldn't say fresh territory, but there's nothing much left, to be honest. OKR is quite similarly. We have that falling wedge with a bit of a false breakdown here, snapback, and you, as you know, the way I look at it, this is a false breakdown. I'm not buying that one. I'm just seeing this that when we get back in and above, and then you get the big pullback, that's when you're going to buy. So in my view here, we should start to find a bottom here. And again, we still have the 30 weekly going a bit down, so I wouldn't expect to snap back. But still, the false breakout with a quick snapback into the pullback, as you know, that is my, I wouldn't say bread and butter, but that's really where I make my entries when I have this kind of setup here with a false breakdown. So yeah, looking fantastic long term. It should resolve all the way up to the triangle high here, which also is the 2018 high. Again, it's not tomorrow. You might have, it might be, let's do some sort of symmetry here. You have 2021 August, so you might be looking at it in 2025, but still, that's looking very nice, 500% in the making, in my view. Just need to delete that one here. Look at it here. Paladin Energy still long term. That one has been cracked right there. Okay. Now that we have that one in our minds, we came all the way up to what? The triangle high here and getting a pullback. Just like we looked at it, that when you get these breakouts from a flag or for if you have a falling wedge, right? You almost always go to the high of that triangle before you get a big pullback. And I think we have a pullback in the making right now. Very stretched from the 30 weekly, but still this one will soon be coming up very rapidly. So hopefully we stay here for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then create a big base to jump from. And then this, when we break that one here, this will skyrocket if we get above that 1.12, 1.15 in that range. When we get that pop here, it should be basically no resistance all the way up until we get up to this high here. Maybe then we have some resistance also the lower side. We have some here, but still that's 250% away. So we have a lot of room to run here. But again, as you can see here, this is, I wouldn't call it parabolic, but this is very steep. Let's just stay here, hopefully. And yeah, also we could go for an ABC correction. But again, some sort of bullish consolidation here is preferred actually to really just have a stair step higher before we really take out that big one here, that high right there. Okay, pen. And then slide. I want to delete some short-term stuff here. Again, what looks like could be a false breakdown here of this bull flag here, or and again, if we get above and then the retest, that's how I will enter. Until then, we're still in a downtrend. We are also below the 30 weekly, so nothing to do right now, other than just wait to get that price action, hopefully above. And then when we get that first pullback after the breakout, that's when we buy. Also, then the 30 week will be here at some point if that were to happen, right? And then we buy straight into that retest. So let's see in a few weeks, maybe a few months before that happens. Silex here, SLX. Was actually one of the best performer, when all the miners were correcting big time or bullish consolidation. This one just kept going up here in this rising wedge for once. And we have now broken down, retested. And I do think that we could be in for some more. And I'm really interested in this bottom right here at around 2.6. You can also see it goes back to here. We have some interactions. And so yeah, it's a long-term big-ish level, I will say. And hopefully we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we hopefully get that breakout there. Again, if this level doesn't hold, I think we're in for some more downside here, and we can probably go down to these highs here at around 2, down to 1.5 basically. But for now, it's still a bullish flag right there, and so hopefully it holds. But as you can see here, we are below the 30 weekly. So right now we are in a downtrend long term, and you shouldn't be investing into it. Hopefully we see that here, and then we break out. Then we should also break out from the 30 weekly, and confirming the uptrend once again. But for now, it's actually in a long term stage 4 decline. Yeah, but overall on a monthly, it's in an uptrend, right? But shorter term, we have a bit of a pullback here, a bit of a downtrend. Totally fine. Okay, last one. Last one is our what's it called? The equal weighted ETF. It has its pros and cons, obviously. That is a triangle. That is a parallel channel. You can see it actually aligns perfectly all the way down, more or less. And yeah, basically we broke out here, and now we're having the first pullback after a breakout, which should be brought up if we get down here. The 30 weekly is starting to curl up here. It still needs some momentum to really get things going, but it is starting. So if we get that pullback here and the 30 weekly, then you can have a good buy in the near future. We're getting a bit of a doji at the bottom here today, but still, I don't think it's over. I don't think the pullback is over yet. I think we have some more sideways to down bullish consolidation in the pullback here before we go higher. Yeah, but as you can see here, well, maybe not, but it's pretty skewed, but you have that cup and handle play right here. So we have broken the candle. So what you typically see is that you go to the height of the cup, which can be here, or if you want to play it a bit more, right there. So this is the target for this setup here in the first move here. Then you can do the measured move once we break the cup high here, but still that's way into the future. We will not look into that. So we will probably go up here between 140 and 180 or 170 here for this move here into 2024, if the overall market lets us do it. I will also show you one last thing. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, high, high. And yeah, we are hopefully making, same here again, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. I will call this a higher low, but still it's so minor, but we will have our bigger higher low here at some point. Maybe all the way down here, obviously, but we are trying to establish an uptrend after this stage 2 breakout here, where we get the first pullback, which is where people will buy in most of the time. So yeah, and last but not least is our equal weighted ETF divided by the spot price. So you can see here we're still in this major long-term triangle squeeze here down. So we haven't actually broken out against the spot price still, and we are actually in a downtrend. So we really want to start to get above these two horizontal levels here before we can say that we are finally outperforming the metals, the uranium spot, the spot price itself. As you can see here as well, we're still in a downtrend. High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Same lower low. You can see it all the way down. So we're still in a downtrend, but I will expect to start to make a higher high. We could have a false breakout and then a higher high, but we're coming to a point in time where we are really squeezing up here. And when and if we get that resumption after the pullback here, that's probably when we make the first higher high for a very long time, 2 years. So that is that. Bit of a long video, but yeah, we did have a lot of things to cover because we had the first major pullbacks, and I can see people are starting to getting bearish already. And I hope if you follow what I do, that you were prepared for it. It was coming. It was obvious. When it happens, it can be a bit tricky. I was a week early actually. I started to call the pullback a week before it did, but it was in the making. Nothing goes in a straight line. I said it many times, and yeah, you can see here. Let's just do some history. You know, the pullbacks in Bannerman from the previous run up. You have a 50%, a 40%, a 40, almost 50% in this move together, right? So they will come plenty of times, and it will make your skin toughen quite a bit. So we're probably going for a pullback here, probably a bit lower on the Bannerman, but still long term the trend is up. You can also look at the monthly here, just to show you that we're not even started, right? We're still making some big green candles, and we will probably have a red candle here, but still the trend is up on the 30-week monthly moving average as well. So yeah, that is how I see it. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, just give me the comments below, and we can have a discussion. I'm happily to answer any questions, and yeah, good or bad, as I say all the time. Where are we today in the ETF? Minus 1%. It's not the worst day. Some sort of hammer here. So there are buyers here, very close to that big $24 level, which I were expecting to go to. As mentioned, 24 to 22 is where I think we will bottom here. So yeah, let's see. I don't think we're not going straight up from here. I think October will be one big pullback to sideways consolidation. Anyways, have a great day, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers.